The Naxal formation, they recruited young children in from the interior area and they trained them for various kind of activities, including a small action team, as a yearly warner, as a sentry, as a carriers, as a porters and all. These kind of activities has come down to a great extent because we have opened up more security camps in the interior area. I want to convey a message to my people in Bastar in their own Gondi language. Bastarta Shanti Suraksha Ada Vikas the Jimmadari मनवा सोबे तोरमिंता कोचिस जरूर सफल आयता और बस्तरता नया पुना पहचान तोरमिंता जय जोहार जय बस्तर.
What do the Naxals want in Chhattisgarh?
They want to create their own Jantana Sarkar kind of system. They don't want the prevailing form of governance to be present here.
Why have you chosen to stay in Bastar?
Bastar, otherwise it is called as Dandakarani also. Lord Rama, he used to spend his like that 14 years of exile period in Dandakarani area. This region has been identified as a place of punishment, posting of punishment, but now there has been a lot of change in the perception. Young officers like they are willingly coming to the Bastar region.
Even one soldier dead is unacceptable.
Right now, Naxals, they don't have capability to take on head to head in the jungle. Only major challenge is the IEDs. Whenever our force is on movement, they try to place an IED on the road or an IED in the jungle to target our security forces.
The propaganda by the Naxals always was that they used to tell the villagers, ये सड़क बन जाएगी, तो वो आके आपकी ज़मीन ले लेंगे.
Because they want to keep the native population aloof from the rest of the world. They don't want them to connect it to the mainstream. Once they get connected to the mainstream, then they will be exposed.
This episode is powered by easemytrip.com. Namaste, Jai Hind. You're watching or listening to another edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Today, my guest is Sundarraj Pattilingam. Now, he's an IPS officer and the Inspector General, or IG as he's called here, of the Bastar region of Chhattisgarh. This episode is being filmed in Chhattisgarh. I've done several interviews at the conclave where I spoke with politicians who are involved in bringing about a change in the Naxal-affected areas of Chhattisgarh to bring about development in Chhattisgarh. But I also need to speak with the administration and to find out what is the reason that Naxalism is what everybody thinks of. When you think of Chhattisgarh, you should be thinking about the beauty of Chhattisgarh. You should be thinking about the culture of this beautiful state. But instead, what actually comes out, the news that comes out of this lovely state is about bomb blasts. It's about IED blasts. It's about soldiers who have been killed in action. It's about Maoists who have been killed in operations. So really want to know that how long will it be before Maoism or Maoist-related violence at least ends in Chhattisgarh and this state can move with the rest of the country in to be one of the most sought-after places for heritage tourism, for its green tourism, for its culture, and now, of course, everybody's talking about Nava Raipur. So let's speak with Mr. Pattilingam and find out. Thank you so much, sir,
Thank
for
you,
coming.
madam. It is our pleasure to be here in your program.
Thank you. Thank you for coming here. You spent most of your career in this Naxal-affected belt. Now, for somebody who doesn't understand what is Maoism, what is Maoist insurgency, what is Naxalism, could you just explain it in basic terms as to what this is all about? When did it start in India? When did it start in Chhattisgarh? Why did it find resonance in the least developed areas of the country and of Chhattisgarh?
The Naxal movement, it started in the Naxalbari village of West Bengal in 1967. Initial issues were like Jal, Jamin, Jungle. The Naxal leaders that time, starting with Charu Majumdar and his other associates, they started to exploiting this issue of Jal, Jamin and Jungle. Later this spread to other part of the countries, particularly undivided Andhra Pradesh. That time Chhattisgarh, it was part of undivided Madhya Pradesh. Here in Bastar region, we didn't have that feudal system of existence, there was not there. But we had a very dense forest area, very undulating terrain. We had a very vast and difficult hilly terrain. So Naxals tried to use this area as a safe hideout for their activity whenever there was a pressure mounted in Andhra Pradesh or other part of the country. So they tried to infiltrate into Bastar region. Later when the state was created in 2000, then they tried to expand their base in Bastar region. They normally exploit this inaccessibility of this area because of the hilly terrain and dense forest area. There was not much connectivity in this area. Initially they tried to export this inaccessibility area, inaccessibility issue. Then later they tried to win over the native population by giving a false propaganda against the government, against the security forces, and they tried to recruit more young boys and girls into their formation. So all these recruitments were mostly compulsory recruitment. They tried to take a meeting in the village and they nominate 10 boys and 10 girls from your village will be part of our formation. So initially the local native population, they could not anticipate the real and cruel phase of the Naxalism. So they, out of compulsion, they joined the formation, and slowly they tried to expand their base in other parts of the undivided Madhya Pradesh also. Later, like in 2003-4, they had a very ambitious idea of spreading this Naxalism from Pasupati in Nepal to Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh. They want to create a red corridor, and 2006 to about till 12-13, it was a very tough period for the security forces because a lot of expansion of Maoist cadres took place and a lot of violent incidents. The peak violence was during this particular period of time, but later then the government came with a lot of mechanism to control this Naxal problem, and right now we are in a better position to tackle this left-wing extremism, and we can claim they're almost in the last stage of their existence.
So initially it started because of the geographical makeup of Chhattisgarh, that it was a safe haven for people who would make these attacks in undivided Andhra Pradesh and run over to Chhattisgarh to take, or whatever was undivided Madhya Pradesh at that time, to take refuge in the forests here. So there was no ideological reason for them to be in Chhattisgarh for a long time. Or was it because of that red corridor from Pashupati to Tirupati, that corridor?
Initially, Maoists tried to exploit this inaccessibility condition in this region of undivided Madhya Pradesh. Later, the native population also, since they're very sparsely populated area, they didn't have much connect to the outside world. It was easy for them to make them into, bring them into their fold by lot of false propaganda, they took meetings and they used to spread rumors about the activities of the government, about the security forces. They tried to exploit the innocence of the native population here, and as the days passed by, then by the time the native population realized the Naxals are good for nothing, in fact they were the sufferers, they suffer a lot of casualty, civilian casualties, because once the native population stopped obeying their dictates, then the Naxals targeted them by labeling as the police informer. You are anti-revolutionary, and in the last 25 years in Chhattisgarh alone, they have killed more than 1,800 innocent civilians in the name of police informer or any other allegations against them. So by the time the native population could realize the real and ugly face of the Naxalism, then they have spread their base in a lot of area. And when the government came up with a lot of solutions, now we are in a better position to eradicate this problem in Bastar as well as the other parts of the country also.
So, but what do the Naxals want in Chhattisgarh? In the sense that when you talk about separatists in Kashmir, then they wanted azadi. You know what the militants in Punjab wanted when they wanted Khalistan. What do the Naxals want? What is it that unites Maoist insurgents in Telangana, when you're talking about Madhya Pradesh, when you're talking about Chhattisgarh, when you're talking about Jharkhand, Bihar? What is it that unites them? I mean, Maoist ideology is dead in the rest of the world. So why is it still active in India? What is it that they want?
Maoists fundamentally, they don't believe in a democratic system of governance. They claim revolutionary form of governance is the only way to bring in development of, it is a holistic development of the entire area. So they oppose elections, they oppose the democratic institutions, they don't allow the local gram panchayats to function, and they want to create their own Jantana Sarkar kind of system, so that they don't want the present prevailing form of governance to be present here. So that was their basic ideology, and they always claim the democratic system of governance is not going to be a success, because the divide between the haves and have-nots will be increasing in a democratic form of governance. They want a socialist and a communist form of revolutionary governance here. So it is a case of bullet versus ballot. So they oppose all kind of elections, right, starting from the local body elections up to the Vidhan Sabha elections, even the general elections also. They oppose these elections, and they don't want any other government machinery to go in the area to function. So that is the basic ideology, which is very outdated, and it's not acceptable to the native population also.
So when you talk about them with bullets, now for 20, 30 years now, we've been watching them take pot shots. They take shots at the security forces, and they blow up soldiers. They lay mines. Where are the weapons coming from? Where are they? How are they making the bombs? What is their source of money? Initially, they used to say that, oh, they're using bows and arrows. They are tribal rebels in the forests. They shoot with poisoned arrows. But that's not the case. They started getting sophisticated weaponry too. So how did it come? What did they get?
Most of the sophisticated weapons have been looted from the security forces.
Armory.
From the security forces armory, and whenever our security teams were out for operation, they laid ambush, they put IDs, and after those incidents, they looted the weapons. This period was somewhere between late 90s until 2010, 12 and all. Later on, this kind of incidents has come down drastically. And other weapons they fabricate locally. In the inside the jungles, they have their small facilities where they could fabricate the muzzle loading rifles, which in general terms we call as a Burma rifle. And nowadays they fabricate a barrel grenade launchers, which they call as BGLs. So these kind of locally fabricated weapons and ammunitions, they manufacture in the...
But they're very effective also.
Most of them are not very effective. The regular graded weapons which have been looted from the security forces, those are effective. But their locally fabricated weapons are not that effective. But they have been handed over to the local boys and girls who have been recruited compulsorily, just to give them a show of strength. They used to give these locally fabricated weapons to the local recruits. Most of the senior level cadres, they use the sophisticated graded weapons which were earlier taken away from the security forces.
So
but we have again in the last a couple of years during our operations, we have recorded most of those graded weapons which have been looted from the security forces, right from LMG, AK-47, INSAS and other graded weapons which were early looted from us. We have again taken back after those encounters. We have recorded lot of graded weapons in the last couple of years.
So tell me, when did you get posted to this area, and how long have you been working against these Maoist insurgents?
I'm from 2003 batch. My first posting as a ESP was in Bastar district. Later on, I served as SP Narayanpur and SP Bastar and DAG in South Bastar. And for past 6 years, I'm serving as IGP Bastar Range. So overall, around for 14 years, I've been in the Bastar region.
For 14 years in the Bastar region?
Yes.
My goodness, that is a real difficult posting. I mean, anybody would say that's a hardship posting. And after doing a couple of years, you would come and stay in a city. Why have you chosen to stay in Bastar?
Bastar, otherwise it is called as Dandakarani also. Early in the epic Ramayana, this place used to be called as Dandakarani. And people used to interpret.
Lord Rama used to be here.
Lord Rama, he used to spend his that 14 years of exile period in Dandakarani area. And people, they had a perception this region has been identified as a place of punishment, posting of punishment, but now there has been a lot of change in the perception. Young officers they are willingly coming to the Bastar region, right from IPS officers as well as collectors and other forest officers. They are coming to Bastar, then they want to be part of this transformation which is taking place. And right now we have a very real good team who are very dedicated, committed, starting from the constabulary to all the ranks. We have a very good committed team, and they're wholeheartedly participating in the transformation exercise.
But we keep seeing, visuals. Now, of course, it is slightly lesser, but then we have seen visuals of police forces massacred. And it used to be terrible to watch how, this used to happen. And it continues to happen now, not at the large scale that it used to, but even now for every 30 Maoists who are killed, there will be one soldier, one jawan who's killed. So can you tell me that this death toll, it has come down, I agree with you, but even one soldier dead is unacceptable.
Yeah, that is very emotional and sentimental issue. Like losing any one of our men or women, like during the operations, like it is very sentimental, and it demoralizes the entire forces. And for that particular family from where the young soldier comes from, for them it is like a total devastation. But like in the last couple of years, like there has been a lot of change in the scenario. Earlier there have been huge incidents, like in a particular incident we lost 76 men in 2010. Later in other incidents also, in a single ambush we used to suffer like casualties of about 36 jawans or 40 jawans. Slowly these kind of operational casualties, they come down. Right now Naxals, they don't have capability to take on head to head in the jungle. Only major challenge is the IEDs. Whenever our force is on movement, they try to place an IED on the road or an IED in the jungle to target our security forces. In the recent times, like maximum casualty or because of the IEDs. In the head-to-head encounters, like there's no major casualties being suffered from the security forces. And our security forces, they like over the period of time, they have been well trained like for this jungle warfare, as well as their commitment level, their tactics level. All this together, it has brought in a lot of positive changes in the scenario. And hopefully, like in the days to come, even we are our target of zero casualty on the security forces, even on the civilian casualty also, that we will be able to achieve.
But they used to attack the camps also. That attacking the camps, now you don't hear all that much, isn't it? What was the reason? And they used to say that there used to be intelligence loopholes where they used to know exactly when your troop movement will take place. They used to know exactly how many people are doing night duty. Then they would attack at that time. So where do you think the loopholes were and how did you stem that?
Bastar region, totally it is 42,000 square kilometer area. Normally we used to compare the Bastar region with the state of Kerala or any other Scandinavian countries also. We are quite bigger in size than few other countries also. So those time, like we didn't have much of security force presence, like it is lot of security vacuum as well as administrative vacuum. So this situation was not favorable for us, and it was conducive for the Naxal cadres to launch any attack on the camps. So there could not be any reinforcement from the nearby places. But slowly this scenario has changed. Like now the force density in the Bastar region is quite satisfactory. We have opened up a lot of camps, like in 2024 alone, in a particular year we opened up 30 new base camps. So therefore we are filled in the security vacuum area, and the intelligence like inputs is also flowing very well, because earlier we didn't have much presence in the jungle. So it is a very sparsely populated area. Our presence is also very limited. But as and when we have opened up so many base camps and we have improved the connectivity, there's been a lot of road connectivity projects which has been carried in the recent past, mobile towers coming up. So the region is opening up to the outside world. So similarly we are getting good information, good intelligence. So nowadays, like the attacks on the security camps are almost, it has become history. Whenever you open up a new camp from far away, about 1 or 2 kilometer far away locations, they try to fire few rounds just to demoralize or just to create a panic impact on the security forces. But otherwise there is no serious attempts in the recent years. Whenever they made attempts, they were the one who suffered. There was an incident in 2024. They tried to attack our camp called as Dharmavaram. So in fact, like Naxals, they suffered a huge casualty during that camp attack, and they have to withdraw all of a sudden. So that is the scenario prevailing right now.
So earlier when you used to set up a camp, there used to be resistance from the local population. They didn't want a camp. Now they ask for a camp to be built. What is the reason that they didn't want a camp? Because having a camp out there, they didn't want security forces. Now they feel secure because of security forces. When did that change come about, and why?
Because of Maoist, like almost for last 30 to 40 years, they've created such a narrative in the jungle area where we were not present earlier because of our limited security camps and all. So they had an opportunity to build up a narrative by projecting the security forces as a villain, like projecting like the administration, local administration, the bad lights. But as and when we go deep inside the area, so we have good community outreach programs. We have a lot of civic action programs. We go to the villages, we address them in their local language. We carry out a lot of community programs like health camps. sports camp and all. So now the gap between the security forces and the local population, it has bridged down. So
You speak the language?
so we can speak luckily the Gondi language. It is of Dravidian origin. The Gondi language, which is a local tribal
You're
language.
a Tamilian, right?
I'm from Tamil Nadu, and the Gondi language being spoken in Bastar region, major part of the Bastar region, it is of Dravidian origin.
How come?
Because it has a close connect from the Dravidian region. So the local tribal language Gondi, it has most of the words derived from the either Tamil or Telugu. So someone from Tamil Nadu or Andhra Pradesh or Telangana, they could easily appreciate the language. For example, the numericals, we call like Onnu Rendu Moonu Nalu. So similarly, in Gondi also it is the same, Onnu Rendu Moonu Nalgu. So for hand they used to call us Kai, which is the same in the Tamil also. For a dog they used to call us Nai. And similar it is in Gondi also, it is Nai. So it's a lot of similarity between the Gondi language and the Dravidian language origin. I want to convey a message to my people in Bastar in their own Gondi language. Bastar ta Shanti, Suraksha, Ada Vikas, ta Jimmadari, Manva Sobe Torminta, Mama Coaches, Jarur Safal Ayata, or Bastar ta Naya Puna Paichan, Torminta. Jai Johar, Jai Bastar. This message means it is a joint responsibility of each and every stakeholder to bring in peace and prosperity to Bastar region, and one day we will together collectively we'll achieve this target and we'll able to give a new and vibrant identity to Bastar region.
They know that you're not a local.
So now, since for last so many years I have been there in the area, it is easy to connect to them. So they could feel comfortable with the officers either of the local.
Are they suspicious of the troops?
Right now, not at all. Right now, not at all. The main reason being we had a lot of local recruits in the last few years in the name of DRG, the name of Bastar fighters. It is 100% local recruits. Okay. Even the CRPF, they have recruited a Bastaria battalion. So the main criteria was to give an opportunity to the local boys and girls who have been deprived of this opportunity earlier. So we have relaxed the criteria because the native population, they are short-heighted. So we have cut down the height requirement. We have relaxed the education requirement. So right now in Bastar region, I can say almost 2/3 of the personnel, they are local boys and girls who have been recruited from the same region to safeguard their own community, to safeguard their own region. So that is the game changer which has happened. It was one of the important game changer.
So earlier what used to happen was that if a local was even an informer or suspected to be an informer, not only was he killed, his family was also killed. But if you make a local a uniformed soldier, doesn't the family suffer or doesn't the family become target of the Naxals?
Of course, they try to target the individuals who have been recruited as well as their close family members. But now there has been a lot of awareness in the village also. So now the villagers, they're coming forward to protect that particular family. There have been a couple of incidents where Naxal tried to come to the village, took a Jan Adalat to identify who all has been recruited into the security forces. But the villagers, they all together said whoever has gone to the security forces, it is your problem. You go and fight with them. You can't do anything with the parents or family or the villagers. So this is a lesson which their Naxals are getting right now. So now the villagers, they're coming forward to protect each other. So earlier that was not the case because of fear. They don't come forward to protect another person who has been targeted in a Jannah Adalat. But slowly the scenario is changing.
Okay, so the villages, do they have a village defense committee, or is it just the panch, the sarpanch, or the village head who decides these things?
So it is that, as I mentioned earlier, earlier Naxals, they didn't allow the democratic form of functioning. So most of the gram panchayats, they were defunct. The sarpanchas, the local body elections
never used to be held.
Even if it could be held, no one is coming to forward to file a nomination and all. But recently, only in January 2025, we had a local body election. It was totally instant free elections. There was no major instance. There was an amazing participation of electors, like both like the public representatives who want to become a panch or sarpanch, as well as the electoral participation was also amazing. We had like camps like the villages where we had like 80% voting, 90% voting, where earlier like even 1% voting was a very rare thing to happen. So that way like nowadays like the local grassroots level panchayats are functioning very well. So they have like a Gram Raksha Samiti also. The villages, they now government has announced like a very attractive scheme. If any village they declare themselves to be a Naxal free village, they would get 1 crore worth like developmental work sanctioned immediately. They can make use of that fund for road development or electrification or any other development just the panchayat wish to carry forward. So that was the very recent announcement made by the state government to promote the grassroots level functioning of the democratic institutions.
See, when the road development that you're talking about, the propaganda by the Naxals always was that they used to tell the villagers, ये सड़क बन जाएगी तो वो आके आपकी ज़मीन ले लेंगे, आपका जो कल्चर है वो ख़त्म हो जाएगा, whatever you had, your tribal laws, everything will end, and ये आपकी ज़मीन हड़पने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. So the road development used to stop. So all the road activity, the construction equipment that used to come, they used to blow it up. Right? And the villagers also had believed it to some extent that our way of life will get threatened. When did that change come about, when they wanted the roads to come, when they wanted the mobile towers to come? I mean, we have innumerable shots of mobile towers being blown up and of the road construction equipment being blown up, contractors saying that we can't go there because our workers will be killed. So when did that change come about, do you think?
Opposing the road construction was a very well thought conspiracy by the Naxals, because they want to keep the native population aloof from the rest of the world. They don't want them to connect it to the mainstream. Once they get connected to the mainstream, then they will be exposed, because all these years they have been building their organization on false narrative. So they don't want the native population to connect to the outside world. Just for that particular reason, they used to oppose road connectivity, bridge connectivity, mobile connectivity, even for that matter electrification also. So they don't want television or radio to come into the villages. So we, during our community outreach programs, we keep on highlighting this issue. So this got like a good penetration deep inside the villages. So whenever we go to the villages, we used to assemble them. We used to tell these roads are not built for any industrial purposes. It's not built for any mining purpose. It is built for the movement of your own men and women, particularly the young children who could go to the nearby district headquarters or block headquarters for education purpose or for any hospitals and all. So that message has been very well received by the native population. So like we saw the examples like that happened right in front of me when we were trying to open up a camp. So there were a particular group of guild students who are coming from one village. They want to go to the block headquarters for their higher studies. So they used to cross like so many rivers and rivulets. Like the boys, they can take off their clothes and they can, after crossing the rivers, they will again wear it and go and sit in the classroom. The girls, they can't do that. So they totally trenched, like their uniform was totally trenched in the river water. So in the same condition, they have to go and sit in the classrooms, attend to class, and again they have to walk back like about 14 to 15 kilometers to reach their village. These things we used to
14 to 15 kilometers.
That was the early scenario before we start building up these roads, because
wait, early scenario means till what year?
So till like 2018-19.
Till 2018-19,
yeah.
Girls in Bastar region, in some of the areas, had to cross a river with no bridge, and then had to walk back 14 kilometers to go back home.
So these were the scenario like in the deep inside the jungle, because Naxals, they have demolished so many schools. Like the record says like almost 200 schools has been demolished by Naxals, because they don't want the local boys and girls to get educated. So like they have demolished like so many ashrams, the tribal ashrams where the students could take aboard and they can carry for their studies. Those have been totally demolished. So because of this scenario, like the students, if at all someone want to carry forward with their studies, they have to walk, or because now we have the road built and we have the transportation like either taxi or like bus being operated. But the scenario like 6 to 7 years back, these girls and boys, they have to walk all this
So now
distance.
then, when did the bridge in this area that you're talking about, when did the bridge come? When did the road come?
The bridge has been constructed in the year 2021, and like recently we have completed the road. The road which I am mentioning is called as Basagoda to Jagarunda. Like this, one of the in the hardcore Naxal-affected area. For constructing this particular bridge, we lost one of our CRPF Jawan. So that post, the security camp is named after him as Sunil Post. Between Basagoda and Jagarunda.
What happened to him? How?
Like Naxals have placed ID whenever we construct a road or we construct a bridge, the team from the nearby camp, they go out for patrolling so that the road construction team is safe, their machineries are safe. While carrying out such an operation, he stepped into ID which has been placed by Naxals. His entire body was blown into pieces. So we named that particular camp after him. The camp is right on the bridgehead. So there have been so many cases of sacrifices by the security personnel.
Where was Sunil from? Would you remember?
He is from Uttar Pradesh.
From Uttar Pradesh.
Ji.
And he gave up his life trying to help the people of Bastar, the young women or the young girls who were going to school, who had to walk 14 kilometers or who had to pass a river drenched in their clothes. He gave up his life so that a bridge may be built out there.
Yeah, Sunil was one such an example, and we have so many other examples. There's another post called as Kamal Post. Same thing happened for road construction work. One of our Jawan, he was on operation duty. He also stepped into ID and he also made an ultimate sacrifice. Similarly, there has been so many other CF Chhattisgarh Armed Force Jawan, who was guarding a bridge construction work. He was blown into pieces. We couldn't even collect the dead body because the impact of the ID blast was such a huge, the 6 feet Jawan, only we could gather only 2 feet torso. So that was the scenario, that was the kind of sacrifice which our men, they made so that the native population, they could have a better connectivity, they could have a better education, they could have a better future. So that was the kind of sacrifice which has been made by the Jawans. So for in last 25 years, we lost more than 1,400 Jawans during various operations, various construction work protection duty and all. So in the last 25 years, our 1,400 and more men, they made the ultimate supreme sacrifice.
When you lose 1,400 men who are working in a place which is not their area, but they are doing it for the development of the people there and because of duty. How do you feel when you read, say, a celebrated author calling the Naxals Gandhians with guns? What do you feel at that moment? How do you motivate your people when they watch TV and they see such celebrated authors sitting in London, sitting in America, and talking about Naxals as people who have the good of people in mind?
So our challenge was both the underground Naxals who are in the jungle, taking weapons and causing harm to the security forces, as well as the native population, civilians, as well as the people who call themselves as intellectual, and they support these kind of violent activities. They have been seated in many urban, semi-urban and other places. They support this mindless violence of the Naxals. They give them legal aid, they give them a monetary support, and they give them all kind of supplies, either of arms ammunition or explosive materials or some kind of intellectual support also. They come on debates, they support these kind of violent activities. So it is very demoralizing for the security forces. But while we talk to our men, we keep on motivating them by saying ultimately our target is to give a bright future to these young boys and girls. If you come and see a tribal boy and girl, so innocent, they have a lot of hope, aspiration. So they want life like what other for example a boy or girl in Bombay or a boy or girl in Bengaluru. So they also have equal rights. The boy or girl in Silgare or in a Puvarthi, he also has the equal right because he is also the citizen of this country. So he has all rights to have a better education, better life. So we used to tell our men we are ultimately working for these young children, so that almost 2 generations their life has been ruined because of this Naxal movement. They could not see what the real world is. They could not have the benefit of like reaching a town or watching a movie, for that matter any entertainment. They were totally deprived of it. So like we keep on motivating our men by saying like our ultimate objective is to build up a bright future for this young boys and girls. So that went very well with our jawans, like both the locally recruited boys as well as who are coming from other parts of the country, someone from Assam, someone from Kerala, someone from Punjab. So we have like all central armed paramilitary forces like CRPF, BSF, ITBP, SSB, CSF, name any central paramilitary forces, they're deployed in Bastar. So they're from all other parts of the country. So they are totally motivated, like they're totally committed to this cause. So now if you come and visit any camp and ask any of our jawan, you want to leave this place, they will say we would leave only after the task is being completed, only after the mission is being completed. That is the level of commitment which you could see in the central paramilitary forces. Similarly with the local forces also. We have STF, we have DRG, BS, Bastar fighters, we have CF, Chhattisgarh Armed Force. So all the forces are working in synergy. They're totally committed for the cause, and that's what give us the hope like we could bring an end to this Naxal menace in a year or so.
So this task and mission that you're talking about, Operation Kagar being one of them, one of the missions, it's said that the Naxals fear this mission because it's a deadline-driven mission. I mean, earlier we had this that, oh, Naxalism has to end. But now there's a target. It has to end and end at any cost. So while the Naxals fear it, there are some who say that even the locals fear it because there are no prisoners taken, in the sense that if somebody is considered as an informer for a Naxal, it is deadly for that person also. So tell me, how do you differentiate that? Maybe you could make a mistake. He's not an informer, maybe. Maybe it is some local chap who wants to get him into trouble and he's called him an informer. So under this Operation Kagar, could mistakes have been made?
Right now, like both government of India as well as the state government has a very clear timeline. So they want to bring an end to this Naxal problem, left-wing extremism, in another year or so. So for this, like we have multiple like front. Like one is the operational front, another is the developmental front, third is the conference building measures. So we keep on reaching the villages, we keep on reaching the deep inside jungle area, and we used to tell them, see, this objective is to bring an end to this armed violent activity of the left-wing extremists. If anyone has been by compulsion associated with the Naxal activity, right now they have an option to come forward, surrender before the state. They get benefit of all the rehabilitation policies. We make sure like they get both like monetary benefit, like to rehabilitate themselves. We give them skill development training, and we give them all kind of assistance so that they could lead a normal life. So that hold good for any other villager also who has been knowingly or unknowingly associated with them. So like our objective is not to target any innocent civilians. Like even the hardcore Naxals, right, government of India and the state government was very categorically announced. Right now also they have the option to shun violence, come and join the mainstream. Like we don't even prosecute their cases. Like we have provision to withdraw the cases against them after a proper like monitoring of their activity and all. So like government has time and again made this announcement. They have the option to shun violence, come and surrender. But someone is not listening to this appeal, and still they carry a gun and they want to target the security forces, or they want to target innocent civilians, or they want to cause damage to the public property, then they will be dealt in the way which they should be dealt with.
Right. I'm going to read out a quote. It says, the deadline-driven war on Naxalism is a euphemism for erasing Adivasis. Now, this is a quote from an article penned by an author who is probably this millennium's Arundhati Roy. But is she right to some extent that there's unprecedented bloodshed in the state because somehow or the other Maoism or Naxalism has to end, and if that means spilling blood, that's acceptable?
So it is the primary duty of and the fundamental duty of security forces, either it is a local force or any other security force being deployed in Bastar region, to keep the area violent free, to keep that area safe, and keep that area conducive for inclusive developmental activities as per the desire of the native population. It is a fundamental duty of all the security forces. For that duty, whenever we go out for an operation, we go out for a patrol. If someone attack the security forces, it is a right of self-defense. We exercise this right of self-defense to like protect ourselves. So if someone target the security forces, we can't be a like silent watcher like for that.
No, of course not.
So we have the right to self-defense, and all this like dead bodies being recovered after an encounters, it is a part of that right to self-defense, and we are not the perpetrator of violence. Like we exercise that to protect our own self and to protect the native population. So like our like goal is not to like cause any violent incidents, or like not to support any kind of violent incidents. Like our goal is to maintain peace and order in the region. So like the claim by the many people like this entire exercise is to to take control of the resources or to take control of the native population there. That is totally a false propagation. Like the native population, if you go to any camp nowadays and you ask them like you want the security forces to withdraw from your area, the big answer will be no, we don't want the security forces to withdraw from area. We want the security forces to continue in our area. Now we are feeling safe. Our like harassment has been like done away with, because earlier when the camps were not there, Naxals come to the village. One big thing they do is that recruit the local boys and girls compulsory into their formation, and they take levy from the villages. Whatever the little money they have to spare that money in the form of levy. So they call it a party fund, or they call it a party chanda. So they think that it was the right to take that money from. Even 100 rupees per year is a very huge amount for the simple Adivasi who living in that area. So they used to take levy. They almost had a parallel tax slab. Like if someone is owning a tractor, then they used to collect like 4,000 rupees per year from that particular person. So they thought like
it's a very scientific way of doing vasuli.
So they call it a Jantana Sarkar, like they call it a Revolutionary People Council. Nowadays, these kind of Revolutionary People Council, they are totally like done away with, like only in small pockets where our presence is very limited. They are thriving in those areas, and the days to come we are hopeful of finishing off those like Revolutionary People Councils also. But like what I'm trying to say is that like, so these native populations, they were subject to a lot of harassment, both mental, financial harassment. Their boys and girls been taken away from their home, and they sent to other parts of the country also, like in places called as MMC, which is Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Chhattisgarh, Tri-Junction area, or it is Odisha or Jharkhand.
For training?
For training, as well as to work as a foot soldier. Like so they used to send the like local recruited boys from here. They sent to other parts of the country, even right up to the KKT, that is Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Tri-Junction area. So whenever there's any encounter taking place in that area, if dead bodies are recovered, like out of 4, 2 bodies were from Bastar region. So the bodies come in a coffin. So that was like a scene in the village, like there, and many boys and girls who have been recruited from that area, they are not allowed to see the family for 20 years, 25 years. Like even if the parents, like if any of the parent die, they are not allowed to come and participate in the funeral. So that was kind of harassment that was taking place. So now if you go to any village and ask conduct a like a verbal this thing, like you ask the people, you want the camp or not, they would certainly say like, we want the camp to continue in this area, we want the security forces to be present in this village, so that we are feeling safe and we are feeling comfortable. That is a kind of answer which we could get, and this message is loud and clear to even the Naxal supporters, their sympathies also, but their ego is not permitting to accept in the public domain. So they keep on giving this false narrative, they're giving this false quote and all, but even they know the reality. This movement is not going to last for long. Their days are counted, and sooner or later, like they'll be totally wiped out of from the history of India.
So, one is hearing that preteens are also taken in, young kids, under the age of 12, 13, they could be just 9, 10-year-olds. They are taken and they're taught how to make bombs, how to make IEDs and things like that. Has that recruitment stopped, become lesser as a result of your operations in these areas?
Absolutely. These kind of recruitments has drastically come down. In the recent time, they are not getting fresh recruitments. Whatever the old cadres they are having, most of them also they're depleted, they're like running away from the camps and coming and surrender before the state, and the parents also not allowing their children to go and join the Naxal formations. So their recruitment has come down to a great extent. Earlier they used to have this Bal Sangam, like a small boys and girls, like a age from 10 12 years, they recruit them, they train them, they use them as a small action team members. They in the school uniform, they ask them to carry guns and go and target a particular public representatives. So these kind of activities, it was happening earlier. These young children, they have been totally misused as a small action team members, as a santris, like as a porters, as a human like a shield. Like whenever there's an exchange of fire, they put these local cadres as a human shield, and they put them as use them as a foot soldiers. And fortunately, the local cadres, they realized this fact in the recent times. So whenever there's an encounter taking place, exchange of fire taking place, the local cadres, they're not protecting the senior cadres. So you, just to make the audience understand in a better manner, so Naxal top leadership, they stay in the core, and they have like multiple layer of security cordon, like inner cordon, middle cordon, and outer cordon. Whenever the security forces going for an operation, the first layer of like exchange of fire would be with the outer cordon, who are mostly the locally recruited cadres. The top leadership, who are mostly from Telangana, Andhra Pradesh,
Are the inner side.
are in the inner side. So till recently, this was the scenario. Whenever there's a exchange of fire, the local cadres, they fight with the security forces. By the time this central leadership, they take benefit of the dense forest area, they flee from that area. But in 2024...
Wait, 1 second.
Yeah.
You said that children were used in this outer, children and women were used in this outer cordon.
Children who have been recruited, the women who have been recruited.
So what age group are we talking about?
So like earlier the Naxal formation, they recruited young children from the interior area, and they trained them for various kind of activities, including a small action team, as a yearly warner, as a sentry, as a carriers, as a porters and all. But of recent years, like these kind of activities has come down to a great extent, because we have opened up more security camps in the interior area. There has been no more like young children being recruited in the Naxal formation. So earlier the Naxal used to put these young children as the outer cordon also wherever they're camping. But because nowadays like these kind of new recruitments has almost gone down to zero, so we can't find any like young children who are guarding an Naxal camp. But other like local cadres who are recruited from this jungle area, still they have been used as a human shield, as a foot soldier by the outside Naxal cadres, who are mostly from Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, or other parts of the country. They always use them as a human shield. So we keep conveying this point during our community outreach programs. As an outcome, these local cadres, now they are coming forward to surrender in large numbers. In the last 15 months only, we have more than 1,200 local cadres who have left the Naxal formation. They have come forward and surrendered with us. So we are hopeful like in the days to come, there will be no more recruitment from the local area. So the local recruitment will almost come down to zero.
So you couldn't do any offensive operation if you have a 14-year-old standing out there.
Yeah,
guarding.
like we take care like whenever there's any like local villages or like young boys and girls, or even small children, minor age children, they have been used as human shield. We used to like that is a protocol also. We used to make lot of announcements like now like the security forces here, so you can't fire on the security forces. You have to drop your weapon. You should come and surrender yourself. So many people like they after hearing this announcement, after hearing this warning, they like flee away from the places also. We have not recorded many young children dead body. Whatever the dead bodies which we record like after encounter, it is mostly of like adult like cadres only. What I'm trying to mention.
Women? What about women?
So like almost like about 30 to 40% of the dead bodies which we have recorded like so far has been of women cadre.
Women cadre?
Yeah, because in the Naxal formation, like it is almost 50-50. Like they have like equal number of women cadres also, like in the lower level as well as in the middle cadre. In the top cadres, they don't have much of women cadres. So the point I was trying to mention is that, so recently, whenever there's an exchange of fire happening, the local cadres, they are not protecting the senior cadres. Okay. So our like contact or confrontation is directly with the senior cadres. In 2024, we recovered 6 dead bodies of Telangana's cadres, like who are originally from Telangana, who are like state level committee cadres. Yearly, that was not the kind of recovery which used to happen. We recover the local cadre dead body, but of late, recent times, we are able to recover the dead bodies of outside cadres. Like a recent one was in Gariyaband district, where we recovered a dead body of central committee member called as Chalpati. So this kind of situation which we are able to observe in the recent times.
So what happens when these encounters take place and like 15 Naxals are killed? You find out where their origin is, and then what happens? The bodies are handed over back to the villages or where they come from? What do you do?
We contact the family members. The family members come. They like identify the dead body. Then they, after completing all the legal formalities, then take back the dead body. So like right from the central committee member also, whose dead body has been recently recovered in Gariyaband, the family member, they came. They they took the dead body and they cremated in their native place. So like that, all the humanitarian approach we follow it.
So what happens when they go back? Are they seen as martyrs who have died for a cause, or do the family think it's a wasted death that has happened? What happens?
So nowadays, no one sees them as a martyr. Like even the family members, they categorically mention for last 30 years, he or she was not in contact with us. When during late 80s or 90s, when they left the village for this Naxal movement, for last 30-40 years, they were not in communication with this particular cadre. So they were totally not aware of the whereabouts of this particular cadre whose dead body has been recovered. That is what I earlier also mentioned. They have such a inhuman kind of discipline. They don't allow the cadres to go and meet their family, even if there's someone dies in the family or someone is suffering in the family. They don't allow to have a normal family life. The cadres, they have been subjected to vasectomy operation so that they can't have children. So the women, they can't live a normal life, their motherhood, their womanhood. They have to compromise all these things once they're in the Naxal formation. That is the main reason for them to abandoning the Naxal formation and coming
and surrendering
in the large numbers.
Okay. Finally, I have to ask you this question that, security operations cannot be successful if the political leadership is not in sync. If it's half-hearted, then it doesn't work. So tell me, with the Home Minister Amit Shah being very categorical and fronting this anti-Naxal operation, do you feel that it has impacted on your security operations in this area?
Right now, both Government of India as well as the state government, they have a very clear timeline to bring an end to this left-wing extremism. So the entire security forces, entire administration, we are carrying forward this objective, which is being very well supported by the native population also. So having such a strong leadership, having such a strong backing from the government, it obviously motivates the security forces, the troops in the ground. They now feel more committed, more motivated. They know government is there to give them with all kind of support, whether it is any kind of infrastructure facility, any kind of welfare measure, or we have Indian Air Force functioning here. Whenever there's an injury to any of our jawan during any operation, they go in the middle of the jungle, they pick those jawans, they bring to the nearby hospitals. Many lives has been saved. So this all kind of advantage, all kind of infrastructure, all kind of the facility which the government of India as well as the state government is providing us, it is very really it is motivating the jawans on the ground. And secondly, the native population also, they coming forward. They want more connectivity projects to happen in their area. They want their children also get educated like someone in the urban area also. So they want better hospital facilities. They want to watch a television. They have a desire if someone in the city or in the village they're watching television, why can't we watch a television? Yeah. They want to listen to radio. So these are kind of aspiration the native populations also having. Sure. And we are hopeful we'll be able to provide this kind of a conducive environment to the native population, so that they could lead a normal, peaceful life, which according to their desire. No one from outside, they can come and dictate you have to lead a particular way of life. That is not going to happen. They can lead a life of their own desire, of their own will. So the native population is very very sober. They're very grounded. So they don't have any greed in their mind. So they want only the basic things. So and they want to enjoy. They want to connect to the nature. So all these things are going to happen, and the martyrdom of our executive personnel. So for so many personnel have laid their lives, and the public representatives also. Many of them, they have made a supreme sacrifice in protecting the land of Bastar. So similarly, the innocent civilians, once they go out for a jungle for collecting minor forest produce, the IDs being placed by the Naxals, they become victim for this IDs and all. So all the sacrifices by the security personnel for the public representative, the native population. So it is going to act as a guiding light for us to achieve this target, and we are hopeful of building a better Bastar, a very, very bright future to the native boys and girls. So we are hopeful of achieving this target.
Yeah, finally, I have to ask you this one question, which I've always wanted to find out, is that use of technology, using drones, using satellite imagery before troop movements happen. That can reduce the casualty numbers, isn't it? And you'll know their locations easier. I'm not talking about drones dropping bombs. I'm saying drones locating the area. For example, if you use robots for bomb disposal or for locating whether IEDs are there or not, and using drones before security forces move, so that you can sanitize an area better before you move troops. Would that reduce the toll for the security forces?
We have all kind of technology advancement which the security personnel on ground are using. For security concerns, I can't reveal much about it. But right now, the teams, the troops which are operating in the jungles, they have been provided with the best of the gadgets, with the best of the equipments, with the best of the weapon, and all kind of medical assistance. So right now the technology is not a hindrance. We have all kind of technological aid. Multiple agencies also, they're working hand in hand with us for security concern. Again, I can't name those agencies, but they are giving us best of the intelligence inputs. They are giving with the best of the feedback from the ground. So all this together, it is helping us to bring a better operational outcome, and on the other hand, to minimize the casualty on our side also. So that's the outcome which we could witness in the last couple of years.
Thank you very much for giving us this insight about how you're making Bastar and Chhattisgarh a safer place for the Adivasis, for the people of the region. Thank you very much for spending this time with us.
Indeed, it was my pleasure to interact, and I would like to take this opportunity to invite people from other part of the country or from other foreign nation also. They could come and see the Bastar for themselves, because there has been a lot of misconception about Bastar region, because of all this left-wing extremism activities which earlier was happening. But Bastar is a beautiful place. We have a lot of places to visit, right from Chitrakoot, which we call as Niagara of India. So we have other waterfalls, caves, and a lot of potential for ecotourism, trekking. So I would like to mention Bastar Dashara, which is a unique festival, 75-day long festival. It is the only 75-day long festival in the entire world.
75 days?
Ji. So it is a local Bastar Dashara festival, which is mainly to do with goddess Danteshwari's visit from Dantewada to Jadalpur. It coincides with this Dashara of other part of the country also, but it is slightly different from those Dashara. So it is a very beautiful event, for 75 days long. So it is a very vibrant place, lot of rich culture, the local tribal arts, tribal dance format. Recently we had this Bastar Pandum also. We had the Bastar Olympics, so in December 2024, and the Bastar Pandum in March 2025. Both events was attended by Honorable Union Home Minister and Honorable Chief Minister of Chhattisgarh. So we have lot many things to explore in Bastar. So I would like to invite all the audience to come and visit Bastar, see for themselves the positive transformation which is happening in Bastar. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all in this edition of the ANI podcast with Smita Prakash. Do like and subscribe on whichever channel you have seen this or heard this. Namaste, Jai Hind. This episode is powered by easemytrip.com. Click here to watch the previous episodes.